One of the biggest and most powerful asset managers today made a powerful statement about the future of XRP and its role in the future of finance. They're not just saying, hey, it's profitable, there's demand, we're going to offer the product. No, they're saying XRP specifically is going to play a key role. Wait till you hear this. There is some debate right now going on in the XRP community. Should we continue forward with trying to bring smart contract capability to the blockchain? We'll talk about that. Ripple X going on a hiring spree, looking to bring on developers that can onboard financial infrastructure to this blockchain, real financial infrastructure. And there's a rumor making the rounds that JP Morgan may be ready to go belly up. We'll dig into it. We'll cut into all the stories here. Now, here's the first one. 1.7 trillion asset manager Franklin Templeton says XRP plays a foundational role in the global settlement infrastructure. They don't have to say that. That's not necessary. They can just offer the XRP ETF, and that's good enough. There's going to be demand for it. They're letting you know, yes, this is a real asset for the future here. Will be highly interesting to see how the world's largest asset managers draw battle lines around various crypto assets. Are we going to see, like, BlackRock and Van Eck go the Bitcoin route and the Ethereum route, and then Franklin Templeton pivot a different way? Maybe. This kind of seems like the way this is playing out, isn't it? We see this exact quote. The rapid growth of our ETF business reflects Franklin Templeton's commitment to staying at the forefront of innovation. So this is as much about an ETF offering it to their customers as it is about supporting innovation and being the spearhead of that innovation here. XRPZ, that's their spot ETF, offers investors a convenient and regulated way to access a digital asset, and this is it, that plays a foundational role in the global settlement infrastructure through the transparency and oversight of an ETF. I mean, this isn't some Yahoo. This isn't some YouTuber like myself saying this. This is, Franklin Templeton, one of the biggest and baddest asset managers out there. Now, we see this little snide comment here from Matthew Siegel over there at Van Eck, who says, how foundational can it be if BlackRock and Van Eck both say nah? Well, look, for years, they said that about Bitcoin. They said it about Ethereum. So just because they're not in day one, that don't mean anything. Best believe that. They're going to be late to the party. I think it's a mistake. Why not? I would jump in here and try to capture as much value as you can, especially BlackRock. This Van Eck, they seem kind of like dorks, but BlackRock should be in here. Why not? Why not capture more of the marketplace? But, whatever. Franklin Templeton, they're ready to act. Now, I thought this was really interesting. I saw Panos, he did this poll asking everyone, are you for or against smart contracts in the XRP ledger? And that's kind of, that's happening. They're going to have light smart contracts so we can keep all the feature sets we like about the XRP ledger, fast, efficient, all of that. But we're going to have some sort of programmability on this blockchain. Best believe that. But we see his poll here, 62% are against it. So I ran the same pretty much mirror poll today. And what's interesting, so far we have 2,200 votes, 79% are for. So that's interesting. I guess it depends on who follows you. Maybe he has more developers following him. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I don't know how many votes he had, 1,700 votes. And it's 62% against, and I'm pretty close in the same amount of votes, and we got 79% for. It's not really worded that much differently. There's also usually a difference between X and YouTube. Let me know down below what you think. Are you for programmability on the XRP ledger, or do you think it will rob it of all its attributes that really make it one of the top chains in the world? Now, the ZAO it's growing fast, but to me, it's missing one critical piece of infrastructure here. And understand this, we got to take off my hat here as an advisor, as a promoter of the ZAO. This is just Jungle Link, the ZAO member, same as you, proposing my ideas, the way I see things here. And we're seeing, again, there's momentum, onboarding of new people, but everyone's scattered. You don't have any central space, no governance hub, no forum for discussion. And this is the truth. Without that, we're just a bunch of wallets that hold NFTs. We can't coordinate, we can't build, we can't scale. If we want the ZAO to really grow into something special, something useful, we're going to need this. We're going to need a community forum. And so I think the first thing we need to propose is exactly that, to create that. But until we get there, I am launching, again, the unofficial community forum here for us to discuss things. Maybe you have a business idea that you think would be great on the XRP ledger, your coffee shop, your education services, whatever it is you do. That's the kind of thing the ZAO is looking for. Regular folks with kind of cool ideas that want to incorporate the XRP ledger. Ripple, they got cross-border payments, trillion-dollar businesses, trading hubs. We're looking for regular type of stuff. Onboard that onto the ledger. And so I'm going to launch this, again, unofficial community forum on Discord. It's temporary. It's just a holding center. So we can get together. We can discuss. We can even do, bi-weekly voice chats on there to talk about where we want to take this, things of this nature. And so the way this works here, if you go over to zhaodao.io, link down below and in the pinned comment, you click on there, join ZhaoDao, and with your Salmon wallet, you link up there, you pay your $10 fees for a lifetime membership payable in XRP, and now you're part of the DAO. If you are already part of the DAO, that's even better. And what you'll do, there'll be a second link down below, and it'll take you to this Google space here, and you put in your alias. I don't need to know what your name is, just what do you go by, and then your email. Just drop your email on there and hit submit. It'll come right to me. And the only thing I'm going to use this for is I'm going to send you that link to the Discord. As soon as everyone gets their Discord links, we're just going to delete this whole list, or I'm going to delete this whole list. I'm running it. And that way we have this kind of staging area for these preliminary discussions and ideas, and everyone can meet each other and talk about, where this will go. Bringing people from all around the globe together to onboard kind of regular people, regular folks using the XRP ledger. And so once you've joined this kind of what I call founding circle, I just want this to get us off the ground. And then I don't want to run Discords, but we can figure out how we want to do that. And I think it's important. Again, it's $10 for lifetime membership, payable in XRP. The XRP you hold in your self-custody wallet determines your voting, your profit sharing, and we can really build this out as big as we want it to be. Sign up for the ZhaoDao down below, and once you have, fill out this application, shoot me over your email, and I will send you the link over to the Discord. Now remember, Thursday's Thanksgiving, so give me a little time here. But before the end of the week, I'll make sure everyone gets their Discord links, and we'll start talking about what we're going to be doing on the XRP ledger, because I think we're going to do some really, really big things here. Now we see one of the lead developers from RippleX says, we're hiring RippleX devs and bringing financial institutions fully on chain to the XRP ledger, XRPL. The world's first infrastructure is being built in real time, and XRPL is positioned to power the next generation of global value exchange. We're designing the backbone of on-chain finance primitives and reimagining what a sustainable, high-performance blockchain can unlock for institutions, developers, and millions of users. So, they are really pedal to the metal here. Talking about real-world adoption, real users. This is really the future of finance. And it's good to see post, lawsuit how they are really full steam ahead. Big, big difference here. Now, I put this today. No, JP Morgan is not going bankrupt because of MicroStrategies. There's this viral claim going on right now that a 50% surge in MicroStrategies would bankrupt JP Morgan due to some massive short position. Look, JP Morgan is not going to take some risky position out on a stock like this. It ain't going to happen, people. That is not even in the realm of possibility. Further, JP Morgan, they issued a bearish research note on MicroStrategies and that rule I talked about, MSCI. And, crypto Twitter got furious and started calling for boycotts, which some of those are warranted. We'll go over it. But there's these rumors of a huge JP Morgan short, zero verification, of course, and a position big enough in MicroStrategies to kill JP Morgan. It's just not mathematically possible. It's not going to happen. This is squeeze bait. They're trying to get people to run into MicroStrategies, invest, pump a bunch of money in here, and it's just stupid. Look, JP Morgan is not going to be taking reckless positions like that. They do a lot of bad stuff, that's for sure. I'm no fan of JP Morgan, but that ain't going to be one of them. I can assure you that. Now, Strike CEO Jack Mallers saying JP Morgan shut down all his banking accounts with zero warning. Tether CEO even replied, Bitcoin will survive. These banks will turn to dust. And make no mistake, the crypto community is under attack. They want a hostile takeover this area. They want every bit of flows going into ETFs. ETFs are great. They're going to be a huge help, but they should not be the only thing. And JP Morgan, make no mistake, they're doing all sorts of craziness behind the scenes, trying to capture power, trying to shut people down. They know they're under threat here. Make no mistake. We saw an executive the other day say Ripple is a major JP Morgan competitor. May put them out of business. That may be the future of banking. So you don't think they're pushing back? Of course they are. They're doing a bunch of nonsense. And this is one of them. Just, debanking people because they're part of crypto. That shouldn't be going on. Regulators are going to have to step in here. Politicians are going to have to step in here and protect this industry, because this is back to the old school days when they were doing this. Not too long ago, the Gary Gensler golden years. And it's unacceptable here. Now, we see Charles Hoskinson saying the reason why prices are low is because institutions got what they wanted. They pumped up these DATs and then they shorted them all the way down. So they made money on the up and they made money on the down. And again, I've said before, I'm no fan of digital asset treasuries in general. There are probably some good models out there, but most of them are nonsense. It's using too much leverage on a highly volatile asset. It's not going to end up well. That being said, a lot of the distress we see out there is because of, JP Morgan's and people like this attacking digital asset treasuries, not because they want to protect you and me. They don't care about that, because they want to make sure that every flow goes into their funds, and it's creating a lot of havoc out there. So there is some truth to what Charles is saying, but I think it's more nuanced than that. And again, there's a lot of infighting going on out there over the future of this space. Now, we see this from Mario. Put Strategy Inc. now holds 649,000 Bitcoin, about 3.2% of the entire supply. But the numbers they just disclosed show a model that can't survive over the next 90 days. Now, I bet you they survive over 90 days, but this is a tough time. They have $54 million in cash. They owe $700 million a year in preferred dividends, and their software business burns cash to survive. And each year, they must raise at least $700 million before they get any money even to buy Bitcoin. And the loop, it broke when they lost that stock premium, when their NAV went under their Bitcoin holdings. Now, if they issue stock, they're going to dilute holders. Not going to be good. It's going to kill their whole business model here, that whole engine. And, I see some people down here. This guy says 90 days, MicroStrategies has zero margin calls, no Bitcoin as collateral, debt matures down the road, $689 million in annual interest that they don't have to pay because it's preferred debt. It's not ever that simple. And this is the problem. Most people have no idea what they're talking about. It's not about MicroStrategies losing their Bitcoin because it's been margin called. It's about you losing all your money in this stock. And people like this have no idea what they're talking about. What's going to happen? If MicroStrategies can't make those dividend payments, they're not going to be able to issue any more preferred stock. Who would buy it? They're going to say you're not reliable. You don't pay your dividend. That's going to kill that avenue. If they're not at a premium, they can't issue more stock to raise money without killing the value of the stock, without diluting the shareholders. So while, yes, it may be true that they can't get margin called, that doesn't mean that you won't if you hold this stock. It could go down significantly, harming investors, and people have no idea the risk of what they're holding here. They parrot the stuff they've heard Michael Saylor say, and he's only telling half of the story here. In my mind, what we need is better disclosure, so people like this guy have some kind of clue the risk they're staring at here. Now, if I have to guess, the crypto industry probably rebounds, and for a while, strategy will be okay. But that's not forever, and that doesn't mean everything is solid just because we come firing out of here, prices go higher, all of a sudden strategy look great. I think for the long term, eventually, they're going to have big problems, and shareholders are going to get hurt, and in a big way. Just my opinion, but it's the way I see it, and I don't think most of these investors have any clue the real risk that they face here. It's significant here. Now, Crypto Eddie says, facing existential pressure from Ripple, Stellar, and Visa's USDC by Circle, and plus incoming CBDC, Swift has decided blockchain is no longer optional. So you see that pressure. For the longest time, they said, crypto and blockchain, it has no place in global payments. Now you can't go forward without having a blockchain strategy. Even Swift has to pivot and concede here. And so the leaders in this space, those are the ones you probably want to bet on to win the race eventually, because they've been doing this for so long. They're not just launching solutions today. They're a decade into this building process, and I think that makes a big difference. Now, what's interesting, when we actually understand what I'm saying, I'm not talking about, trading assets in a decentralized way. I'm not talking about global payments. I'm talking about Wall Street, literally trading of securities on Wall Street. They want to take all this stuff on chain, but the problem is seconds don't cut it. Seconds don't get it done. We're talking about microseconds. High frequency trading, they have to be able to execute super fast. So when we look at the future of that, what blockchains are fast enough to get the job done? Well, there's only really three right now, and none of them are even up to the task today. Sui is the most advanced design in crypto, the most capable, and it's nowhere near. They would have to wildly upgrade the hardware on that network to meet this use case. Aptos would be number two, and a long and distant number three would be Solana. And it's not as future proof from an architecture standpoint to be able to meet this needs. It pushes its hardware harder than anyone else, but I don't even think Solana can meet those needs of the future. So an interesting use case when we talk about blockchains that are fast enough for like New York Stock Exchange grade matching engines. There's not much out there. There's really two, maybe three. This should be an interesting use case to develop. Now, people, they may end up building like side chains. Like you could have an XRP Ledger side chain that's tuned for this, that hooks into the XRP Ledger, or an Ethereum layer 2, of course. There's other solutions, but when we look at actual public blockchains that can meet this need, well, there's really three. Something to keep your eye on, to think about, to mull over. Make sure you go over to the Zao DAO, sign up, become part of the future of the XRP Ledger. And then once you do that, make sure you shoot me over your email here. That form will be linked down below, and I'll get you over. Again, this unofficial, this is not the Zao DAO. I'm doing this myself just so we have a place to talk, to discuss, and to build the future together. And hopefully we can get this over to an official Zao DAO, forum or community center at some point in time. But right now, at least this gives us somewhere to chat and to discuss things. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.